Very good evening. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC Evening News. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair has rejected suggestions that this year's estimates represent government embarking on a road of election spending. He told the lower house the increase in spending by the Frandell-Stewart administration included an increase of $150 million in capital works projects. He says this is an attempt to get the economy going again. He's also contending the deficit of around 5% needs to come down further, while government accelerates the annual growth rate projected at 1.6% this year. Peter Thorne reports.
In a near 3-hour presentation, Finance Minister Chris Sinclair led off the week-long debate on the 2016-2017 estimates of revenue and expenditure in the lower house, completely dismissing claims that they were crafted with the upcoming election in mind. This year, government is projecting to spend over $4 billion in the new financial year, whilst raking in revenues of $2.7 billion, resulting in a deficit of $1.6 billion or 5% of GDP and a growth projection of 1.6%.
This is no election budget. Some people want an election. So everything you do now is an election.
The finance minister says there has been an increase in spending on capital works projects by $150 million to get the economy going again.
Enhancement of immigration services, public sector smart energy program, CAF road rehabilitation project, licensing authority system, IDB project, amalgamated labs, Sam Lord's Castle. That's not an election. That is spending for the economy of Barbados.
The finance minister also says there have been no cuts to the budget of the QEH, adding that despite reform of public health care, Barbadians will not be asked to pay for their health care service.
There's no cut in the QEH budget. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had a program going with the Collective of Hospital people and the Ministry of Health discussing public financing of health in Barbados. And we expect during the course of this financial year that the government will be able to bring to Parliament not only the findings of that discussion, but firm recommendations for the proper financing of public health in Barbados. And it will not include asking Barbadians to pay for service at the QEH neither.
Mr. Sinclair says government has stayed the course, being true to its commitments, including paying millions of dollars in income tax refunds, whilst reducing the debt at the QEH and the Transport Board.
Income tax, $75 million in returns. Corporation tax, $34 million. And value-added tax refunds, 70 million Barbados dollars. $175 million in less than a year in refunds and tax returns. Could you imagine if the government didn't have to pay back the $175 million from various claims and allowances that are given? Could you imagine if that had to go into the government's revenue? We would be up by even more. But these are entitlements that people have, legal and otherwise, and we make them.
Mr. Sinclair says all the available evidence points to a stabilization of the economy and growth in the future.
But whether the deficit is 4%, 4.2%, or 3%, or whatever it is, the fact of the matter is that our program is working. That's the real point. Whether we report it at 4.2 or 3.2, it is going down and down each year, Mr. Speaker, sir, because this government is acting responsibly. We are meeting our targets and we continue to do so even as we apply fiscal policies that are responsible and sensible for growth and development in Barbados.
The finance minister has also dismissed suggestions that VAT receipts are down, saying that in 2014 they collected $886 million in VAT, up by nearly $200 million since 2010. He also told the House revised revenues for 2015-2016 showed projected revenues of $2.55 billion and expenditure of $3.09 billion. Peter Thorne, CBC News.
Opposition leader Mia Motley says government should not be spending $7 million on independence celebrations. She believes that there are other ways to celebrate the island's 50th anniversary of nationhood.
We all want to celebrate 50 years of nationhood. But when you are suffering and people can't find housing or people can't pay the rent or mortgages or can't buy food, can't we not find a more appropriate way to engage in celebrations that is sympathetic to the condition of our people. I walked through town the night when the fireworks were going off, and from group to group to group to group, people were saying, look at we taxpayers' money going up in the air. Look at it going up in smoke.
Ms. Motley says there is a need for mature discussion on the issues facing Barbados.
Because there may be decisions that we have to make as a people and as a country that hitherto we did not think of or did not want to go there. But the notion that anything that is said that is at variance with this government must now become the subject of a cussing, must now become the subject of allegations of scaremongering, must now become the subject of charges being proffered, or people having to go to the police station to give statements as we had to do, the member for St. James Central, the member for St. Joseph, and myself. These things are wrong. And when I talk about tone, that is what I'm referring to.
Tourism Minister Richard Seeley has dismissed opposition claims about Cabinet acting ultra vires regarding the sale of Ammon Resorts in St. Peter. He's told the lower chamber the $55 million from the sale of the St. Peter property has been redeployed to the Sam Lords Castle project, into which government is injecting $80 million to get it up and running again.
So in essence, it was a government decision that we were going to build out hotel room stock at Sam Lords. And that was the understanding. So when we got the funds for the purchase of the Ammon property in St. Peter, we immediately entered into discussions with the National Insurance Scheme, indicating to them what our intentions were, and of course, moving towards having the loan settled through a mortgage facility from Republic Bank over the Sam Lords project. So there was nothing sinister about this.
Of the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. did nothing improper with the Social Security funds entrusted to the National Insurance Scheme, adding that the Sam Lords project will be a major boost to the economy.
The real issue is that Sam Lords, as you know, Mr. Speaker, when it is completed, it is going to provide a number of jobs. It's going to provide over 1,000 jobs, 457 rooms. It is going to be a fantastic project. It will help see things improve. And I have noticed a pattern with the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, the member for St. Michael Northeast. The member will not say that she's opposed to a project, but you put a little cloud over it. It's like the sandals, you know, something sinister is going on.
We'll take a break here, but when we come back, more news.
Say hello to Chelsea. Chelsea is a champion surfer, so she's accustomed to moving super fast, which is why she relies on super fast broadband brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her family sharing and surfing and saving each month. Combined, she bundles her Flow mobile, home phone, and TV services, so she can enjoy much more for much less, and so can you. Visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
Win more with Mega Lucky Sevens, the new instant scratch game with 50. Get your Mega Lucky Sevens ticket from lottery agent Silent Y.
Sun Power on water systems.
I had some problems with my solar water heater. The collectors was leaking. I called the original agency and said, well, they can't do anything about it because the system is bad and they will have to install a new system. I didn't hear back from them. Then I called Sun Power. For me, I went to Monday, paid some money, and by Thursday it was on.
Get your Sun Power.
And everyone looks at it and calculates. Greening, development, trees, concrete, nature, money, and they come to a clash. And you and I can tell what happens.
Trees, the Silent Sentinels, Sunday at 7:30 p.m., repeated on Saturday at 6 p.m. Trees, the Silent Sentinels.
Today, Barbados joins the rest of the world in observing Commonwealth Day. A multi-faith service was held at the James Street Methodist Church to mark the occasion, with His Excellency the Governor-General Sir Elliot Belgrave delivering a message from Queen Elizabeth II.
Today and in the year ahead, the theme, an inclusive Commonwealth, is an inspiration for us all. Let us give it practical effect by supporting those in need and those who feel excluded in all walks of life. By doing so, we will continue to build a truly representative Commonwealth community.
Opposition leader Mia Motley says for the first time in Barbados' history, the island has a negative population rate as fewer children are being born, yet more people are dying. She was speaking during a BLP forum on the estimates at the party's Roebuck Street headquarters last evening. Ms. Motley says up to 2014, Barbados recorded 635 less births and 367 deaths more than previous years. She says this is something which could have serious implications.
Every year it was 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. For the first time in 2014, we now have a population rate of minus 0.2. If you don't want to believe it by what you see happening. Less babies, more deaths.
Quick action by neighbours in a St. Michael district saved lives and a home yesterday afternoon. Lisa Lord has the details.
It was just after 5 yesterday evening that a sense of panic came over the quiet district of 2nd Avenue Alleyland Bush Hall in St. Michael. Smoke was seen coming from this house and a passerby rushed to lend assistance.
When it was passing, I see smoke, I drive and assist, and it was in the bedroom, the front bedroom, a chair, but he went there. I out it. I tell you, trying to come outside.
Gwen Thornhill was in her living room when she was alerted about the fire. She says this is not the first time the house was almost destroyed.
This evening was scary for me. This is the third time that house went to burn.
Station Officer Denton Foster says one of the 3 children who was in the house was treated at the scene for wheezing.
On arriving, we noticed that we found that a chair was on fire in one of the bedrooms. Because of the fire, it's under investigation.
7 officers, along with Sub-Officer Knight and Station Officer Denton Foster, with 2 tenders from Probin Street headquarters, responded to the blaze. Lisa Lord, CBC News.
A strong message tonight from a former student of the Harrison College as the institution celebrates 283 years. Rector of St. Matthias Anglican Church, Reverend Hugh Sandiford, says Harrison College must build on its past successes to produce leaders for the times.
Members of the Old Harrisonian Society started their week of activities with a service at the St. Matthias Anglican Church. In his address, OHS President Cameron Sobers told the congregation about efforts to ensure past and present students know about the effort to preserve the school's legacy.
We want those persons to understand that 283 years is not 283 days. It's a legacy. It's a legacy that we as Harrisonians live with day by day. It is a legacy that we have to show that, 1, we perform, and 2, we are integratable into society, that we are members of society.
Reverend Hugh Sandiford reflected on how zoning and the increase in sixth form schools have impacted the allocation of students to 8C.
In recent years, our beloved alma mater has not been as sought after as in the past for various reasons. It is therefore incumbent on all of us to reflect as Paul had done on all these things, and together with our first female principal, Ms. Wade, chart the way of the college pride into the future where we continue to produce leaders of our nation.
Reverend Sandiford insists, however, that Harrison College must not limit its focus to just politics, medicine, or law.
But rather we must be mindful of the digital era and context in which we now live. We must therefore be preparing leaders among the current and future students to assume leadership in an ever increasingly complex and globally integrated environment. We must produce these leaders in a world which changes every moment.
And
Reverend
on
Sandiford
that
suggests
evening,
the school can
we're gonna
also
have our
build on its
usual
legacy
sports
of
day and
producing
line.
Olympians, international recording artists, and West Indies cricketers.
As a
Sean Farrell, CBC News.
Sorry, as a token.
The homework remedial program introduced to help children within the constituency of Christchurch West Central is already bearing fruit. Improvements have been reported in the performance of students in the program. The schools participating include Vauxhall Primary, Milton Lynch and Christchurch Girls. Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth Stephen Lashley says the program has achieved its goal. He wants people to continue to volunteer to help in programs like these. Mr. Lashley, who is also the MP for Christchurch West Central, thanked parents and teachers for their support.
This is all done voluntarily. Nobody's paid for this. This is really what community spiritedness is all about. And I believe that Barbados can do with much more community spiritedness. We need more volunteers. We need more people who can commit to lending a hand, because I can tell you that the member of parliament or the minister or whoever cannot do it alone. We are here to work, but we cannot do this alone. We really require the support of volunteers, and I really want to salute all of the teachers, the coordinators who have stuck with this program over the past 3 years.
Mr. Lashley says another program in his constituency, an outreach to seniors, is being revisited.
Of our seniors who spend their time indoors during the day, they need to be reignited. They need to feel as though that they can be part of the community as well. We also did the program with the sign language program, and we want to also reach out and get that started. We had a mission of ensuring that the entire constituency can be efficient in sign language.
The remedial homework program has the backing of the Ministry of Social Care, Constituency Empowerment and Community Development. Program Officer in the Department of Constituency Empowerment, Angela Francis, has pledged her support.
The department is fully behind the council in all of its endeavors. I will make sure that the necessary resources are available, the support mechanisms like the program officer, the program assistant. We are here to ensure that the council's programs are implemented and executed to the best of our ability.
Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across the region. Stay with us.